Hey guys, it's Close Call, and welcome to the true Henshin-a Retro episode where we go back in time and take a peek at games I find fascinating from my past. Today I'm going to talk about my very first PC game I ever played, Descent. It's a first-person shooter in a 360-degree space environment. You play as a material defender hired by a mining corporation to shut down mining operations due to malfunctioning mining robots. You travel across the galaxy, blowing up robots and reactors. So this game may have escaped your radar back in the day, but the companies that created Descent, the series, may look pretty familiar. For example, Interplay has been publishing and developing games since 1983, most notably Baldur's Gate and even the Fallout series. But in 1998, due to bankruptcy, it was forced to sell stocks to themselves as Interplay Entertainment. Things only went downhill from there. Most of the ownership went to Titus Interactive, known for the unfinished and poorly created Superman 64. As suspected, Titus was forced into bankruptcy as well, but in a strange turn of events left all of its debts and problems to Interplay Interactive. Interplay Interactive is now taken back to bankruptcy court to settle even more debt and is now forced to sell their most prized IP, the rights to Fallout. Anyone want to guess who's buying? If you guessed Bethesda, you know more than you think. On the other hand, Parallax Software was formed creating Descent 1 and Descent 2, but ended up splitting shortly after the games were developed. The Parallax part ended up becoming Volition and was acquired by THQ. As Volition, the company was best known for the game series Red Faction and the Saints Row series. I first came across this title after my parents purchased their first family computer. We were out at some bargain bin thrift store and I found a package deal including Descent as well as Descent 2 and a demo for Descent 3. Years later, as technology improved, my purchase became obsolete as the minimum requirements did not even register on any PC I owned. One day I was perusing through a Bookman's looking through their gaming section and discovered there was a PlayStation version of the first Descent game. I made the purchase despite not owning a classic PlayStation, figuring it'd be great as a collector's item at the time. More years passed and I came across not just a classic PlayStation unit, but the SCP-H1001 model. If that doesn't ring any bells, look it up. It's kind of an audiophile's wet dream. Anyway, I was well into my adulthood and well into technological advancement that I was actually able to play the PlayStation version. The most notable difference between the two versions are the cool animated cutscenes and sort of a progress tracker following the ship's travel from planet to planet. And best of all, a kick-ass soundtrack that I really just can't get enough of, honestly. Graphics are a bit of an issue compared to the PC version, and whenever there are too many subjects and actions on one screen, the game loses a good chunk of frames per second. But it's kind of to be expected for games ported to consoles anyhow. So while I was actually looking these games up and researching, all this stuff in the background, I actually came across the news of a remake that a company was doing, kind of working on a prequel called Descent Underground, and it was published by a group called Little Orbit LLC and developed by some studios called Descendant, which is kind of funny, since it's a derivative of Descent. I found news all the way back in 2015 about them redeveloping, the whole idea of first-person shooter in space. They even had a playable demo at RTX 2015. But they are having some kind of litigation issues currently in 2020. Evidently, for Descent Underground, they're blaming Interplay Interactive for lying about the licensing of the Descent name. Since they acquired that back when Interplay and Parallax tried to split the Descent licensing. It gets a little crazier from here. So they've missed a bunch of their release date since 2015, and they're still promising their fans out there that Descent Underground is coming. But while I was looking for other Descent titles, I actually came across a game called Overload. I noticed it was kind of similar to Descent, where it was a 360-degree space shooter, first-person shooter. You were in a mining facility with robots and reactors, and heck, they even had secret doors. So I delved more deeper into it, found out that it was actually developed by a bunch of guys back from Parallax Software, and it seemed like they were trying to remake Descent on their own, which is kind of funny because it seems like they're trying to one-up Interplay in their endeavor to bring back Descent into 2020. But seeing how the licensing still remains with Interplay somehow, they couldn't just call this, Descent Remake. They had to change the name. Parallax did reserve the rights to the ship model used in Descent and Descent 2, and also the MIDI clips and effects that were associated with it. So if you guys have been watching, I recently completed a campaign of the first Descent game for my channel, and actually have yet to personally complete Descent 2 in its entirety, and I haven't even begun to touch Descent 3. If it's worth recording, I might actually record it, but I don't really want to, fill my channel full of Descent games. I want to have a bit of variety of video games and videos on my channel. If any of the Descent games are of interest to you, there is a bundle pack available on Steam. I've yet to try the multiplayer feature. I'm not even sure if it works, but if you're interested, you should totally let me know if you download it. We can give it a shot. Descent Underground developers promise the game is still on its way, letting us know as early as January 2020, so we'll see what comes out. But if you want to try out Overload, it is available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox, as well as Steam as a demo and to buy. I did give it a bit of a try, and it's really, really fun. It's very reminiscent of the whole Descent concept of the 360-degree space shooter, and the graphics are just phenomenal. It's just a swing back to what Descent used to be. I really hope you guys enjoyed our trip down Retro Lane. I hope I was a good guide, and I hope to bring many other lost or passed up titles I enjoy, or maybe even something you enjoyed here on Henshin-a Retro, baby.